In this video presentation, we will be taking an overview of the Connect Print Manager. The Print Manager is a software that comes exclusively with the Prez Connect license, as well as the Print Shop Mail Connect license. It is unfortunately not available for Planet Press Connect licenses. The Connect Print Manager, as the name implies, will be a manager for certain printers. And though this in previous versions of the application was called the IPDS Print Manager, it has been renamed since it now supports more than one printer type. It supports IPDS, PostScript, and PCL printers. The Print Manager helps in managing jobs and queues as well as queue priorities. Let's start by adding an IPDS printer and seeing what type of thing that we can do with the printer in place. Now, IPDS printers are generally networked, so you'll have to enter the IP address as well as the port for the printer. Another important option here is the hot folder, where the hot folder is specific locations on the drive that will trigger the job to be printed when the file, or an IPDS file, is inserted into this folder. So by splitting the hot folder into the 3 levels, obviously it means that high priority jobs will always be printed first. So if 2 jobs come in at pretty much the same time, then the high priority job will always print first. There are some other options inside of this dialog that you can change. However, I will not go through them. You can simply go through the documentation for the Print Manager, available on help.objectiflune.com, to see exactly what these options refer to. So once you've added the IPDS printer, you'll see that you do have some information here that is displayed. A printer starts off paused by default, which means that when jobs are received, they will not be sent to the actual printer. One important thing that you can do is, once a printer has been added, an IPDS printer specifically, you can right-click on the printer in the Printer Capabilities, click on Check, and that will actually give you some of the capabilities of that printer, aka what it supports in terms of technology, in terms of settings, in terms of features. If we go to Printer Queue, you can have an overview of all of the printers, as well as how many jobs they have in queued, started, and have finished. One thing that you can do from here after selecting a printer is to add a job manually. By default, a job that is added will be medium priority. Another way to add a job to the queue is to go in the job queue, add a specific job, so let's say this one, and then drag it into a specific priority folder. So this will add it to the print queue, but with the selected priority. Now, as long as the printer is paused, you can actually change that priority, and that will be able to do it. Now, once the printer is started, then all these jobs will start to print on the server. As you can see from the messages down here, we can see that these jobs are actually being printed on the printer. Now, once the print is finished, you can go under History, and you will obviously see a history of everything that's been printed. You can right-click and click on Preview, and that will show you the actual file that was printed. Now, the third way to add a job to the printer is obviously to send an IPDS job to any of these 3 hot folders. This is generally done from the workflow software, when the workflow automation will send the file directly to that. But obviously, if you are in the designer application, you do File Print, and you select an IPDS printer, you can send it to that folder, and that will also work. So one of the other advantages of the Connect Print Manager is to act as a print monitor. I'm going to add a couple of printers here and show you. These are all PostScript printers. Now, as you can see, PostScript printers do not have a port. Rather, they do have a queue, because PostScript printers can have more than one queue. Generally, auto is sufficient, especially for what I'm about to do. PostScript printers can also have hot folders, so if you deposit PostScript files inside of these hot folders, they will, of course, be sent to the printer. Now, once you've added PostScript printers, you have access to something new, which does show but only applies to PostScript, is the SNMP printer status. So what you can do here is right-click on these printers and start monitoring on these printers. And you can see clearly that right away we have an overview of what is happening on those printer as a printer status. This one has an empty input tray. This one needs maintenance. Those are things that SNMP gives us and which can be displayed and accessed through the print manager. You can also expand this information in order to grab more information. So in this case, there are two different alerts, and both of these are shown here. So this is for the printer status itself. If we go back to the printer queue, if any jobs were currently being printed on those systems, we would see the numbers go up and down in this, but the printers that I have right now are sort of low priority, so they're not actually used that much. And that was it for the presentation on the Connect Print Manager.